Now that the year 2017 is almost over, let's take a moment and look a bit forward to the year 2018. To the new year, to new beginnings, to new year, new me, and the hope that YouTube will screw us less. Not that it matters as much on account of we've discovered Steemit and DTube, which, not gonna lie to you, Steemit alone has been more profitable for us in about 2 months than YouTube in 2 years. So thank you to all the people on Steemit that have voted all of our videos. We owe you the freedom to say screw you to YouTube and the ability to make shows maybe better, maybe soon, maybe more. With that out of the way, let's take a look at what we can expect from video games next year. There are some big names coming out. I mean, you've got Red Dead Redemption 2 sometime. It was supposed to be out this year, but they changed it and I kind of they needed more time probably to either add loot boxes or remove them depending on how people feel about them around the time of it being launched. Though this will happen sometime near summer or at least in late spring, so let's go back in time a bit to the beginning of the year to what's gonna happen right in the first month in January. Well, in January, we're gonna get Street Fighter V Arcade Edition. The broken promise of Capcom of not releasing N++ versions of each Street Fighter game because now they can just do it with updates. Well, as long as the Arcade Edition is not as horrible as the launch version of Street Fighter V was, okay, I'm guessing that's fine. We're also gonna get Dragon Ball FighterZ, which is Dragon Ball game. Now, maybe you're not a fan of anime or Dragon Ball, but this is a game made by Arc Systems. Arc Systems makes some of the best fighting games around. It will give Capcom a run for its money any day of the year, and it's gonna be out in January. So unless they make a really horrible PC version, I am looking forward to that one. We also have Monster Hunter World, which will not have a PC version from day one, but it will have one as time goes on, sometime during the course of the year 2018. And if you're not familiar with the Monster Hunter series, it's an open world-ish kind of game where you fight big bosses and you have to trap them and use all sorts of tactics against them. I'm not gonna say it's the Dark Souls of open world boss rush games because I think the series predates the Dark something by quite a lot, and this one's gonna have an online component. Moving on, in February we are gonna have a new expansion for Civilization 6 called Rise and Fall Civilizations at War. No wait, that was actually a different game, but somehow they named it exactly or almost exactly like another game, so well, it probably won't cause confusion because I played Rise and Fall Civilizations at War and I could not remember its name even when I was describing it. It's the game where I said that you control units like an RTS, but then you can switch to a third-person view and control certain characters like Cleopatra that has special abilities with a bow and something. Kingdom Come Deliverance should be around that time as well. If you don't know what it is, imagine if Mountain Blade had less of an emphasis on large-scale combat and more of an emphasis on realism and on authenticity, and well, that would be Kingdom Come Deliverance. It was made via Kickstarter. It did take quite a lot of time to get to this point, but the end result should be worth it. It's looked amazing up until now. Unlike Metal Gear Survive, which is going to be out in the same month, and I'm not sure if the PC version is going to be out in February too, but the game will be out and people will be amazed at what Konami can do out of the Metal Gear franchise after they showed nothing but contempt for it for about 2, maybe 3 years. If you're a fan of classical-ish spectacle fighters, then in March we're gonna get a remastered and HD collection of Devil May Cry games, which is gonna be superb. Probably. I mean, the Devil May Cry games, the old ones, were amazing. They were superb. They were great. And there are talks of there being an extra game in that series at E3, a 5th Devil May Cry. in the original Devil May Cry series. Sea of Thieves is gonna come out around that time as well in March. I played some of the alpha. I'm under NDA. I do not hate it. I have positive feelings towards it. I do not believe that breaks the NDA, so we'll leave it at that. Far Cry 5 is gonna be out then too, so if you're in the mood for Far Cry 2 but now in the USA, sure, you can even command pets now and hire a dog to do your bidding, and that's good. Apparently We Happy Few is gonna come out of early access in April. I was really excited about that game when I first saw the E3 trailer, because up until then I had no idea the game was going for that thing, that kind of story driven style. Well, apparently the game developers were not aware of this either, because people expected it to have a story, not be just a open world collect trash kind of event type thing. So they are actively redesigning, remaking the game to have what they showed in the trailer, and I gotta appreciate that they actually tried to give the people what they told the people they would give them. And if you're a fan of old Street Fighter games, all the 2D ones, sadly not the one with Jean-Claude Van Damme that was based on the movie, or the ones with Capcom in them, or X-Men or other stuff, there's gonna be a Street Fighter 30th Anniversary collection on pretty much any platform you've got it on hand sometime during May, and that's, according to Wikipedia, that's all the dates that are set. So let's go on with the things that do not have a set date but are probably gonna be absolutely kick-ass, hopefully. I mean, I have high hopes for Anno 1800, which is going to be a sort of return to form for the Anno series. I didn't really play the sci-fi games. I didn't have the opportunity, so I can't say if they were good or bad. Some of them, they look quite good, but I really more preferred the older days where technology was a bit more limited, where, I don't know, it just feels a bit right, and kind of the series started from very, very early ages. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Going alphabetically, Anthem, it's gonna be filled with loot boxes and it's gonna be boring as hell, but it looks great. I mean, it looks fun, and it's gonna be fun for an hour because it's made by BioWare and reliant on gameplay, so you know it's not gonna be all that great in the long run, and it's built on the Destiny type of scenario but with more microtransactions in it, so it's not great. At least that's how I'm picturing it in my head. I hope it's gonna be good. I hope it's not gonna be the death nail in the coffin of BioWare. Is it death nail as in the nail in the coffin, or is it death nail as in what the hell is a death nail anyway? I don't know. Moving on. We got 2 Battletech games next year. One of them is MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, which I have very much anticipate. It's gonna be the game that lets you move around the galaxy as much as MechWarrior 1 did, but it'll have the gameplay that's more in line with, I think it's going to be a bit more complex than what MechWarrior Online has. And you also have a campaign, like an actual campaign, where you go around, you collect money, you collect people, you gather up your forces, you build mechs. Well, don't build them, you buy them. You don't really equip them because they have a predefined chassis that you cannot swap in and swap out as you would want to. But still, it sounds like it's going to be fantastic. And you also have Battletech, which is a game in which you can actually punch mechs. I am very saddened that they have not showed the ability to punch mechs in MechWarrior 5 yet. It's something they cannot do in MechWarrior Online on account of CryEngine is a piece of crap in terms of networking, so doing melee in that game would be a nightmare. They even said that Mask would be a problem to implement, because shooting someone in the face that's moving at 150 kilometers an hour, the PPC that's moving at 300 kilometers an hour or much more, would cause the engine to go insane. But since MechWarrior 5 is using Unreal Engine, there's the hope, always the hope. And Battletech, turn-based mech combat where you can punch mechs to pieces. It's a dream come true. We have 2 MechWarrior games in development right now, both coming out next year. And well, sort of jumping ahead a bit, also there are in development now 2 Star Control games. Yes, I know there was a bit of a dispute because of some of the licensing things, mostly left over from Atari days, but there's 2 Star Control games now in development. haven't played one of them, only the Super Melee mode. That's all that's available for it now, but it's going to be launched next year. And the other one is in development now, and it's going to be launched, well, probably not next year, but in 2019, 2020. The important thing is that it is in development. Also, something awesome in development right now, 2 System Shock games, which will probably not be out next year, but in 2019. But hey, they're in development. The greatest time to be alive in terms of gaming. Next year, we're also getting a new Call of Cthulhu game. It's been a while since we got one, so we are long overdue for one. And since Dark Corners of the Earth was superb, I've got high hopes for it. Also, if you're a fan of the Darksiders series, Darksiders 3 is going to come out next year, and it's continuing the story, and it's made by some of the same people. Also, if you're a fan of zombie games, we have Days Gone, a game that should have probably been released 4 years ago, but it's on the PlayStation 4, so I don't really care. What I do care, however, about is Detroit Become Human. Yes, it's a David Cage game, it's a Quantic Dream game, it's probably gonna be more cutscene than game, but I do love the insanity of that man. I do love the things that he does, as long as they don't use so many goddamn QuickTime events. And absolutely, some of the bits in those games are utterly brilliant. The first hour or so of Fahrenheit is genuinely a work of genius. You play as 2 characters, one trying to cover up a murder, the other one trying to solve it. You're playing against yourself. It's superb. And again, if you're on the PlayStation console, you're going to have a new God of War, now called the Dead of War for some reason. Oh, it's not called that, but that is basically the idea. If you're a fan of construction games, management simulation games, roller coaster tycoon, theme park, you're gonna have Jurassic World Evolution made by Frontier, the creators of Planet Coaster, so it cannot suck. It's the people that know how to make this kind of game, and they already have the framework to make it. It cannot suck. I mean, it can be amazing. Speaking of amazing, Metro Exodus next year. If you don't know, the people that developed the game ran away from the Ukraine because war and the fact that they couldn't afford chairs in their studio when they were working on the first game, and electricity, and how they made the first Metro be such a good game makes you sort of think that developers in America are goddamn spoiled brats by comparison and totally inept, when a bunch of people that couldn't afford to work in a place where the windows closed in the winter because they were broken, that couldn't afford to work in a place that had constant power, heating, and again, chairs. They made that. They made Metro. While other people complain that the toxicity of the multiplayer community is delaying improvements to the game because they have to invest the time in making the community less toxic by implementing other features. Oh, wow. My heart breaks for you. Really, it does. Truly, truly does. So now they're in Malta. They've got a new studio. They probably have chairs and windows and electricity, and they're making a Metro game that is a bit more open world and on the surface, and it's got bears and trains, and it's gonna look amazing. And I'm hoping it's gonna be great. Again, back to the idea of games way past their due. Overkill's Walking Dead game is gonna be out next year. It's called The Walking Dead because everybody hates you, and it's probably gonna be Left 4 Dead with some more features from Payday. Again, if it was released 4 years ago, yes, sure, absolutely. Now, I don't care. Phoenix Point. Okay, Phoenix Point. I'm in the Discord server for Phoenix Point. I haven't actually done anything there. I may try and see if I can talk to developers a bit more and maybe give you a preview of the game or show or something. I'm gonna see about it. But Phoenix Point is XCOM's spiritual successor made by Julian Gollop, the original creator of XCOM. And it's basically the idea of evolving the idea of the series, of this franchise. Not about simplifying it, but pushing it beyond what it is limited to now, beyond what it was limited to since the beginning. We get to fight bosses, where you have different factions around the world, where you have an enemy that constantly evolves to fight against you. And you have, I imagine, working combat mechanics and stealth mechanics, not pod triggering. Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire is going to be out next year as well. I know some people rag on the first one and a kind of Josh Sawyer hitting fun, which he absolutely does, but there were bits in the game that I really loved. The artwork, for example, the way it looked. I want wallpaper, like on my room wallpapers with maps from that game, because from a certain zoom level they look just superb. They look like I remember Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale looking, and I do hope they they bring some much needed improvements to the combat, the dialogue, the everything else. Psychonauts 2 is going to be out next year for those who still have hope that Tim Schafer can pull another magnificent game from under his hat, and he won't pull another Space DF9. As I've said, we have Red Dead Redemption 2, which is going to have an online component which will be monetized to the wazoos and back, and the single player one maybe as well, and I was possibly. We're going to have Shenmue 3, never played the series, don't care. Skull and Bones, which is Ubisoft's way of saying, oh yeah, we should have done this 4 years ago, but we didn't. Now they're doing it. To be fair, they should have done the multiplayer of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood as its own game, starting with Assassin's Creed Revelations. Like, that's when they should have spun it off, because it was honestly for a long while it was the best part of the Assassin's Creed series until they removed it because it made the single player look bad. This isn't going to be that. I mean, Skull and Bones is just going to be the ship kind of aspect thing with the... Oh god, I hope they won't use the ship physics from Black Flag, because those ship physics were horrible. The bigger ship you had, or the bigger the ship you fought against, the faster it would move and spin and turn. That's not how physics works. And next year we're going to have the new Spider-Man game, which looks like a giant QTE event. State of Decay 2 for those people who again like Zombie Thing Survivor. Soul Calibur 6, never played the series, heard it's good. Super Meat Boy Forever, which is a sequel to the original Dark Souls of platformers before Dark Souls was a thing. Like I said, we are gonna have a System Shock. Oh, no, wait, we do have a System Shock. Yeah, the remake is coming out next year. Okay, the remake is coming out next year. We're gonna have the Bard's Tale 4. It's been in development for some time. I mean, it's up there. I honestly forgot about it. The Crew 2. Okay, so the Crew 2. I made a show about what the Crew 2 needs. Hopefully, it's what the Crew 2 will get. I'm not gonna get my hopes up. Ubisoft has burned me before, and I'm starting to fear that the dread of Vivendi buying them out is waning, and they may go back to their old habits. The Gale 3 is going to be out next year too. It's in early access now, but I haven't played it. The first reviews I read for it were, well, it's an early access game, still not done, still far from being done, so I'm hoping it's going to be good. We're going to have what appears to be the final season for the Walking Dead Telltale series, so finally they may go on to do something better. For example, it looks like they're working on The Wolf Among Us Season 2. The Wolf Among Us is their best game after the first Walking Dead Telltale season, because it's a very deep, very interesting world with great characters into which they regrettably jammed their kind of gameplay with QTE events. It's the kind of game universe where I would like to see CD Projekt make a game, not Telltale, but I do expect The Wolf Among Us Season 2 to be a bit better. Tropica 6 is going to have bridges this time, so I'm hoping that it'll actually have more than bridges and, you know, more innovation and not just feel like an expansion for a remake of Tropica 1. Underworld Ascendant. Oh, I almost forgot about this game. It's the third Ultima Underworld game without the Ultima branding. It's made by the people that made Ultima Underworld. It's gonna be superb. I really do hope. I mean, it can't be bad. Please don't make this be bad. I believe in you people. It appears we're gonna have a new Valkyria Chronicles game, which is XCOM but set in World War I as seen by the Japanese, so it's gonna be weird. We're gonna have Vampire, which is an action game where you're a vampire made by the people that created Remember Me, which was a horrible game, a horrible knockoff of Oni and a horrible game, but this one may not be horrible, hopefully. Vermintide 2, I found the first one boring, hopefully this one will improve upon it. And oh yeah, World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth, which I gave up after Warlords of Draenor came out, because I played it. I thought it would be great, and I kind of, it brought back so many feelings of Warcraft 2 for me, and nope, nothing. And lastly, in this article on Wikipedia about what games are coming out next year, we have Xenonauts 2, which is a game I very much look forward to. I really enjoyed the first Xenonauts. It was the XCOM I wanted, not the XCOM I got. Sure, it was limited in terms of scope and budget, but it showed so much promise. It showed it was made by people that got what XCOM was about. And I do hope they do have the ability to make as good of a game as possible with the sequel. So yeah, I'm guessing in large, these are the games you'll be looking forward to next next year. Also, be on the lookout for Activision implementing that patent they have for making you play games against people that have better items acquired through microtransactions, so that you will then be more inclined to buy those items. Also, look forward to microtransactions being shoved into anything and everything, because Electronic Arts decided again, for like third time in the last decade, that single player games are dead. So that's gonna be fun. And of course, be on the lookout for new shows that we may have on our channel, or check us out on Steemit and on dtube.video next year, after we get some hard drives on account of we have to host those sort of locally, and then it's a peer-to-peer sort of thing that doesn't involve YouTube and somehow has better profit margins for the content creator. And no ads. It's almost like it's not run by corporate sociopaths. So, tomorrow's gonna be the last show of the year. It's gonna be a play now of a game that I really love the idea of, and you're gonna have the chance to see in some places as my heart breaks in real time, and my sanity wanes and darkness overcomes me and I say something stupid. So, be on the lookout for that, and happy holidays. See you in 2018, and again, thank you very much to everyone that supported us on Patreon. Thank you to everyone that supported us by watching these shows, by sharing them, by commenting on them. Even if you hit a dislike, still that's engagement, that counts. Thank you. And especially to the people that supported us on Steemit. You've got no idea how much that helped. So I'm gonna see you, well, with tomorrow's show, and then in 2018, probably around the 8th of January. Not the 4th, that's usually when I go back to work, but let's say the 8th, so it'll be around the number of fixed time units for the rest of the year. Goodbye.